What's the difference between Donald Trump and Joe Biden? Well, Donald Trump has repeatedly shown us that he only cares about himself. He undermines our legal and judicial system, disregards the rule of law, and tries to cling to power in any way he can. Whereas President Biden has a complex understanding of the game of politics and how it's played. He doesn't alienate large parts of his own party, and he's lost a lot in his life. He's lost a lot, and that shows in the way he talks to people on a day-to-day basis, and it showed today when he gave a speech in Normandy to commemorate the 80th anniversary of D-Day, while Donald Trump posted an absurd video on Truth Social of him talking to one veteran while Donald Trump is flying on his luxury private jet to a rally to meet his cult followers, and the whole video is sort of awkward. I also want to show you some great moments from President Biden's speech. We can't forget to keep boosting President Biden's accomplishments. But watch this video of Donald Trump.
Thank you for listening.
Well, it's an honor to listen to you. It's a real honor. Go ahead, let me hear. I have all the time you want. I hope you can hear me okay.
I don't know if you guys can see it. I'll try to enlarge it, but the connection is terrible because Donald Trump is flying in a private jet however many feet up in the air, and it's just not coming through correctly. There's a little bit of a delay. It's sort of awkward. Donald Trump couldn't even take a little bit of time out of his day to meet a veteran in person. I'll play the rest of that clip, but contrast it with this clip of President Biden talking to a D-Day veteran.
This is the command coin that I have made for this bit. Thank you very much.
I know that it's really hard to hear, but President Biden handed him something and said, "Your generation saved civilization." It did, in his normal warm tone. He's very affable and personable. Just an overall great guy. Back to the Donald Trump clip.
I think we're going to, and I want to thank you all, and I'll make you a deal. I'll see you in the White House in January, okay? You'll be my first group. I'll see you in the White House in January, okay?
Mr. President,
I couldn't make the time to see you today, but there's about a 40 to 50% chance that I'll see you if you vote for me in November. It kind of reminds me of Donald Trump saying he'll free Evan Gershkovich, but only if he's reelected. He's basically dangling the keys of freedom over Evan Gershkovich, his family, and all the Americans who want to bring him back. He's saying, I could make a call to Vladimir Putin, but only if you reelect me. I want to show you guys some clips of President Biden's speech in Normandy today. He did an amazing job. He killed it. If this is a President Biden that shows up to the debates in about 20 days, and we see the version of President Trump that we've been seeing lately, all sweaty and out of breath and slurring, then President Biden will absolutely demolish him. But before we watch these clips, let's go over some tweets that have been trending today. This one from Libs of TikTok said, "What happened?" It's a picture of soldiers raising the flag at Iwo Jima on the left, and then on the right, it's a picture of a bunch of soldiers with a pride flag, and Libs of TikTok said, "What happened?" And Sox Groiper, a Nick Fuentes Nazi fan, said, "The good guys lost," meaning the Nazis lost. These people don't even feel the need to dog whistle anymore. These are Trump voters, and these are the people that Trump emboldens with his rhetoric. But I also want to point out some disinformation that was going around today. The RNC's official Twitter account posted a deceptively edited video of President Biden right before he was about to sit down, but they cut it out so it looks like he's stuck in a position for a few seconds. But if you watch the entire video, President Biden is simply sitting down at a normal speed. It looks like he might even be talking to his wife while he's sitting down. They were maybe having a conversation. So I'm going to show you what the RNC posted, then we can see the actual context. As you can see, the RNC captioned it awkward, and it has almost 3 million views, but let's look at the full context of what was happening here.
Lloyd J. Austin III, Secretary of Defense of the United States of America.
So this was obviously intentionally edited to be misleading, and this is how people get the impression that President Biden is old, through these deceptively edited clips. But I want to show you some clips of his speech in Normandy today. He did an amazing job, and as I was saying earlier, if this version of President Biden shows up to the debates, then Donald Trump is cooked. He's finished. I'm going to play you some clips of President Biden, and I'm going to show you some clips of Donald Trump talking to Sean Hannity last night, and you decide for yourself. Really quickly, make sure you leave a like on the video, comment a blue heart, subscribe. Let's watch these.
Isolationism was not the answer 80 years ago and is not the answer today. We know the dark forces that these heroes fought against 80 years ago. They never fade. Aggression and greed, the desire to dominate and control, to change borders by force, these are perennial. The struggle between a dictatorship and freedom is unending. Here in Europe, we see one stark example. Ukraine has been invaded by a tyrant bent on domination. Ukrainians are fighting with extraordinary courage, suffering great losses, but never backing down.
We're at the most dangerous point in the history of our country because of the power of weaponry, nuclear weapons in particular. Weapons that are so powerful and I've seen the effects. And I had an uncle, a great professor at MIT for many years. We used to talk about nuclear a lot. He understood nuclear very well.
The United States and NATO and a coalition of more than 50 countries standing strong with Ukraine. We will not walk away. Because if we do, Ukraine will be subjugated, and it will not end there. Ukraine's neighbors will be threatened. All of Europe will be threatened. And make no mistake, the autocrats of the world are watching closely to see what happens in Ukraine, to see if we let this illegal aggression go unchecked. We cannot let that happen. To surrender to bullies, to bow down to dictators is simply unthinkable.
The other night about that nuclear doesn't matter so much. What matters is, think of this, global warming. The only global warming that matters to me is nuclear global warming, because that's the real deal.
Hitler and those with him thought democracies were weak, that the future belonged to dictators. Here, on the coast of Normandy, the battle between freedom and tyranny would be joined. Here, on that June morning, the testing was at hand. President Macron, Mrs. Macron, Secretary Austin, Secretary Blinken, distinguished guests, most of all, our honored veterans who met that test at the ages, the test of ages to that moment, 80 years ago. 80 years ago today. On behalf of the American people and as Commander-in-Chief, it's the highest honor to be able to salute you here in Normandy once more. All of you, God love you.